Okay. So simplify the following trigonometric expression. Did you want to print this off, Curtis? Or
I'll just write it down and scan it in.
okay.
It always prints weird, so it just. So sine of x over 1 minus cosine of x plus 1 minus cosine of x over sine of x.
So we gotta find the least common denominator for that. Or cross multiply, it's 1 over 1, but
Maybe. But I have in my notes that tan of x over 2 equals 1 minus cosine of x over sine of x. I don't know if that helps, though.
it equals what? Sorry.
One of the half angle identities is the tangent of x over 2 equals 1 minus cosine of x over sine of x. So the right side of this equation equals
Tan
tan of x over 2.
Okay.
But I don't know if that helps. I mean, that simplifies part of it, but what?
I mean, the other one's just cotangent.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know if it's already in like the simplified version of that.
Could try multiplying it by the common denominator. You want to try multiplying it back to the common denominator?
Yeah, so what would that be?
What's that?
I'm going to the book real quick to see if there's anything in here about it. What chapter is this?
Did you find it?
What?
Looking at tangent of a sum or difference. What?
Hey, buddy. Your screen is frozen, Callum.
Is it?
Yeah. Best.
That's weird.
Well, doing the common denominator thing, I don't know. I feel like it's just like complicating it more.
Yeah. That's kind of.
Could be wrong. That could be.
Rules to see if it anything familiar, but
Oh, dang.
that sucks.
Yeah.
Well,
What's that?
I'm trying to find something that looks familiar to that, but
I made 4 eggs. Just eat so you can do.
Can I have some orange juice?
Is it bad?
I don't think so.
I wonder if it's earlier, like the first.
What's that?
I wonder if it's in the first 2 sections. Oh, here we go.
When's the expiration date? Well, it's supposed to be a little chunky, but when's the expiration date?
I think that's like January 1st.
Oh, you're fine. The cap's not on all the way.
I know.
Okay.
All right, I'm finding something here. It's in 6.2.
So on the first part, the left side, multiplying it by the common denominator, I got sine squared of x over sine of x minus cosine of x sine of x.
That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm. And then, but sine squared of x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared of x. You know?
Yeah.
Sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x equals 1. So on top, you can have 1 minus cosine squared of x over the sine of x minus cosine of x sine of x. And then you can take out sine of x, and you have 1 minus cosine squared of x over sine of x times 1 minus cosine of x, and then you can divide. You can cancel one of the 1 minus cosine of x's. And so you get 1 minus cosine of x over sine of x. So the left now looks like the right.
Huh.
But I don't know how that helps. Because when you're simplifying, if you you have to do the other side too. The
Yeah. And both sides.
cosine.
Ooh.
What?
You're just not seeing much in the book that will help.
Someone got his book.
Is there a half angle identity for cotangent? I think I already got all the half angle identities written down, and there wasn't one for that. So
Go get it. Go get it. Bring it back.
Oh.
Mom, boo.
Hey, buddy. Hi. Hi, buddy. Oh, hi, buddy. Guy. Hi, buddy. Go get it.
So, I think I may be onto something here.
Oh, yeah.
Coda.
So we do the denominators, right? And once the denominators are the same, we can add them together so they're on the same fraction, right?
Okay, what are we doing? Sorry, I was reading this thing.
That's okay. So multiply both of them by the common denominator, right?
Uh-huh.
So for sine of x over 1 minus cosine of x, you're going to multiply it by sine of x.
Okay.
And then the other one you're going to multiply by 1 minus cosine of x, right?
Yeah.
So I've got on top, I've got sine squared of x, and then something on the bottom, plus 1 minus 2 cosine of x plus cosine squared of x. Because if you factor 1 minus cosine of x, then it's going to be 1 squared minus cosine of x minus cosine of x plus cosine squared of x. Right?
It's 1 minus cosine squared of x.
Yeah. Or no, sorry. It's 1 minus 2 cosine x plus cosine squared of x.
Okay.
Do you see that? Because if you factor that, 1 minus cosine of x.
So,
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
yeah, hold on. I'm just writing it out so I can see it.
Gotcha.
Bug guy, come here. Come here, little man. Okay, hold this for a second. Sit. Sit. No,
So it's 1 minus 2 cosine of x
no.
plus cosine squared of x.
Yeah.
Good boy. Yes.
So now that they have the same denominator, you can add them together and they can be on the same fraction.
Hey.
Right? Because if you have two fractions like 1/2 plus 1/2, you could write that as 1 plus 1 all over 2.
Mm-hmm.
So then I wrote them all together and I started seeing like we've got a sine squared of x and a cosine squared of x. So that equals 1. So
Where's that identity?
that's just I think it's just a trigonometric identity. The first one is sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x equals 1.
Okay.
And so I wrote it, and then I wrote out the top, just adding them together, and then I started switching things around. So sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x equals 1. So then you can write 1 plus 1 minus 2 cosine of x, and then all over our common denominator. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you got sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x equals 1. And then you go plus 1 minus 2 cosine squared of x.
Yeah, so you can just trying to simplify. So now on top, you don't have to write the sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x because you know that equals 1. So get rid of those and then just write a 1, right?
Yeah. That's plus 1 minus 2 cosine x.
And then we got... And then I've got... I just factored out the sine on the bottom. I don't know if I'm supposed to do that yet, but... Sine of x times 1 minus cosine of x.
What happens when you just multiply sine and cosine?
What's that?
What happens when you multiply sine and cosine?
I don't know.
So there's an equation right here. Oh, okay, never mind. No? So we could do the denominator. Could have canceled out one of the 1 minus cosine of x.
How?
We hadn't put them together. But
If we didn't put them together?
yeah, because right now it's 2 minus 2 cosine x over 1 minus cosine x.
Right. How do we cancel one of them out?
Oh, this one I'm just looking at here. It's never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. That'd have to be squared. There's like a better example in the book of something like this, but there was like nothing.
Yeah.
Stay. 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 Good boy. Yes. 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 Took 2 massive dumps.
Really? Jeez. I don't know. So far, the answer I'm getting is undefined. I don't think that's true.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
No, I'm sorry.
You were coming for it.
Can I have some ketchup? Well, probably have to keep working on that one.
I just don't see how we can simplify it much more than where it's at.
What's that?
I just don't see how we can really simplify it much more than where it's at. 2 minus 2.
The 2 minus 2 cosine of x over sine of x times 1 minus cosine of x.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to see anything that gives me an idea about it.
I'm sorry. We're under there, buddy.
What's that?
What time do you have work, Curtis?
10.
Oh, you got to go here pretty quick, huh?
Yeah.
Can you watch it in the actual? Oh, we see how Ragnar.
Is it?
You don't even get to play with Ragnar anymore, do you, buddy?
Why?
Because whoever moved into their apartment is coming. Doesn't. People
Did
don't
they-
care about their dogs.
Had they already moved?
No, they're living with her brother and sister-in-law and their kid. They live there.
Hey.
They've been there for like a month. But they only take their dogs out to go potty.
Oh yeah.
They don't give them Ragnar needs literally he's a husky. He needs an infinite amount of exercise.
Yeah.
Her tangent is cosine over sine, right? Or is it sine over cosine?
Sine over cosine.
Bugga.
So looking at me right now.
You're looking at what?
B?
B?
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, I know that the cosecant squared of a minus 1 cotangent of
It's equal to what?
cotangent squared of what?
It's equal to what? I'm sorry, you cut out.
So the cosecant squared of alpha minus 1,
Uh-huh.
that's one of the identities, and that would be equal to the cotangent squared of alpha.
Okay.
So you can write it tangent of alpha times cotangent squared of alpha. And then I don't know what else to do from there, like sine of alpha over cosine of alpha for the tangent, and then cosine squared of alpha over sine squared of alpha.
Well, I think cotangent just 1 over tangent.
Yeah, or cosine over sine.
Either way, we can use that to kind of cancel things, but
Yeah.
stuff sucks.
Hmm?
This stuff sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like, you spread it out. It goes tangent of x times cotangent x times cotangent of x. So
Sine of sine over cosine times cosine over sine times cosine over sine.
yeah.
So sine of alpha times cosine squared of alpha over cosine of alpha times sine squared of alpha. Which would just simplify to, looks like, cosine over sine.
Yeah, because wouldn't the first two, like the sine over cosine times cosine over sine, you just cancel that out and make it 1?
Yeah.
That just leaves cosine.
Or like I took it the other way. I didn't spread it out. I just kept the cotangent squared of alpha. That would just be cosine squared of alpha over sine squared of alpha. And then everything, I multiplied everything together, and you can just cancel, like, there's 2 cosines on top and 1 cosine on bottom. So, and then 2 cosines on bottom, or 2 sines on bottom and 1 on, so.
Okay.
So yeah, same thing. It'll get you to cosine of alpha equals sine of alpha equals cotangent of alpha. Sweet. Feel good about that one?
Yeah, I feel a lot better about that one. Can you get off work tonight?
4. It's just one of the weird Saturday shifts that I have to work every once in a while. I kind of like these next ones more. You have to just like prove that they're equals something, so you know what you're working towards.
Yeah.
You know?
So, yeah, cotangent, also cosine over sine times sine minus cosine times cosine squared times 1 over cosine. Is that how you set it up so you can cancel things out, or?
I don't know. Yeah, secant is 1 over cosine, right?
Yeah.
Cotangent is so cosine of
Yeah.
x.
That's easy. You just cancel out the
Sine of
sine, cosine.
times sine of x. Right?
Yeah. So
Minus cosine squared of x times 1 over cosine of x.
yeah, so the cosine squared of x, and then
Cosine
1
of
over,
x minus cosine of x.
you cancel out 1 of the cosine of x's on the cosine squared. That just leaves cosine of x minus cosine of x.
Yep. Sweet.
Equals 0. Then on B, when it's 1 minus cosecant negative x, it's not just equal to 1 minus cosecant of x. Oh no, that's just for secant. That equals to when it's cosecant negative x, it's equal to negative cosecant of x, right?
I wish I had these things memorized. Cosecant of negative x is equal to negative cosecant of x.
Yeah.
Negative 1 plus cosecant of x. Right? Or is it just 1 plus? Oh, it's just 1 plus cosecant of x, right?
Yeah. We got 1 plus sine squared of x over 1 plus cosecant of x. Gotta verify that it equals 1 plus sine. That'd be 1 minus sine of x over.
Which side of the equation are you working on?
What was that?
Which side are you working on?
Well, it's just so I'm just writing out the whole equation, just kind of a little more simplified, just one step at a time. So right now I've got also sorry, that's 1 minus sine squared of x over 1 plus cosecant of x is equal to 1 minus sine of x over cosecant of x.
Okay. Well, I should probably go. Gotta get ready for work. So,
do you want to meet after you get off work just to make sure we got this all done?
yeah, we could do that just for a couple minutes.
Sounds good.
I can kind of look at it as I'm at work and stuff.
Okay. Perfect.
Cool, man. See you later.
Bye.